Quite understand.
Hi, my name is Richard Bynoe. Highlights Please, co-host of Highlights Please. Gladys Smith is the host, and it's a good day. I'm so glad that we have this opportunity to talk to someone that I have been knowing for quite a few years, and we're in the business of broadcasting. But in broadcasting, there's so many facets. One of those facets is advertising, and I found that advertising takes up almost all the money in order for you to get your products on, or also to get anything done in terms of public relations, in terms of what we call a PSA, a public service announcement, or something that you might want to get out to the people. Now, with all the other social mediums available, a lot of people are using them instead and getting, like there's Facebook and Twitter and all these other social mediums, YouTube. So now advertising is a very interesting medium that's part of broadcasting. And I have with me John Johnson from Bright Advertising, been in the business for quite some time, and he's been instrumental in doing a lot of commercials for quite a few organizations. So John, how did you get into the business?
Man, I got to start from the beginning.
You sure do, because that's how it works.
Oh, yes. Well, first of all, I always encourage a lot of people that's getting into the business to make sure they finish school, especially our youngsters out here today that's, you know, has no outlets to try to be productive. So what I try to do is I try to make sure they stay in school just in case the production field doesn't work for them.
Okay.
Then they have another option.
Right.
So I got into the business. I used to work for a company called Admar Advertising.
Yeah.
That was like 20 years ago.
Okay.
So Admar Advertising, I worked there about 6 months. And I said, I'm kind of interested in this. But as you know, times have changed.
I'll say.
Technology has changed. Everything's changing. We're even getting a couple of years older, you know what I mean?
Kidding.
So getting to the point is that, so once they finish school and they want to do this, I encourage them, you know, get into it. It wasn't easy for me when I first started because there was a lot of lingo.
Yeah.
And I didn't know half of what it meant because, you
Okay.
know, production has their own different words and
Yes.
phrases. I didn't
Yes.
know what was,
Okay.
you know. So I said, let me go to the library. So I went to the library, looked up what all these words meant, and they actually was in the books there.
Okay.
So, you know, I thought I was like a professional then because when they talked the lingo, I
were
knew
on
what
your
they
way.
was talking about.
Yeah, you
You
were
know?
on your way.
So once I got that down, then I said, okay, I got to get my camera.
Yeah.
But back then, you know, I bought a little portable camera, but it didn't look as nice as the technology is now, you know. And then they had editing programs. It wasn't like Final Cut Pro or, you know, the new stuff that they're using now. And the cameras today, they're not even the ones with the tapes in them no more,
that
you know.
amazing? It's all
They put the
file now.
tape in,
Yeah.
they put, everything is just great now.
It's changing seem like
Every
6 months.
Every 6 months, maybe every month. You
Okay.
never know. So I got into it. I bought my first camera, then my second camera. Technology is changing. I said, you know what? I just got to get me a cameraman to come on board with me,
Okay.
and we'll put everything together.
And the first spot you did was, I know that's going way back. Well, how did it turn out, the first spot that you did? The first public service or ad that you did?
I don't even remember. Oh, I did Mr. Softy, the ice cream man.
You're kidding. Well, you
Yeah,
old.
way back. I think that's one of my first ones.
Okay.
And, you know, that was a great success. That's the first time I made a couple of dollars, you know what I
Okay,
mean? I'm going
okay.
to say a couple. But, yeah, so Mr. Softy, you know, he was a good, you know, good client. So that even gave me more incentive to really want to push this.
Okay.
So then I started putting my suit and tie on, going to different small business owners. You know, I used to charge them to produce TV commercials,
Right.
and now I don't even charge them.
Yeah, so now because it goes into the ad and what it costs to get it on the air.
Well, actually, you know, I'm dealing with Fios, I'm dealing with Spectrum,
Okay.
which used to be Time Warner, Cablevision, Bronx,
Okay.
all 5 boroughs, you name it, even out of the state.
Okay, what about national spots like Channel 7 or 5 or 2 or 4? What about those? Do you also?
Oh, that's no. I'm with them. Remember, I've been in this here for 30 years now, so I know everybody.
Okay.
You know,
in the business. 'Cause you've
right
been
in
it
the
for some
business.
time, for a long time.
And what's nice about it is that, you know, after they get to know you, like I know you,
Right.
Richard Bynoe,
Right.
I know them the same way.
Oh,
So
great.
it's like we're friends. You know what I mean? So they give me the best rates.
Yeah.
You know, if I say, come on, do this, do that
Right,
for me,
right.
they do it, you know. They ain't going to get fired, of course, but, you know, they're going to do what I need them to do.
Now, most
because
of the time,
I'm bringing the business to the station.
most of the time, people say they want a spot, a advertisement spot, and everybody thinks about one thing: money. How much is it going to cost? What's the kind of budget I'm going to have? I have to have a budget for this. How do I pay you? What's the first step that I have to take? Say I want to do a PSA or an ad. What's the first thing that I get from you? I call you up and say, John, I want to do something on television. What do you do for me after I agree to your budget?
Well, first of all, we'll put an example here. WBLS Radio.
Okay.
Now, I remember 20 years ago, if you wanted to do a PSA, of course the PSAs are free.
Okay.
But now they got a waiting list so outrageous.
Okay.
It makes no sense waiting online when you need your product to get out there quick. So what I did was, the clients, they come, 2017, this year,
Right.
I'm producing TV commercials at no cost.
Oh,
And
okay.
my commercials are high end. We even got a drone if we're outside shooting.
Great.
Shooting down.
Great.
So,
you're moving up
you
with
know,
technology.
we got all of the equipment that we need to
So
make it happen.
It's not all free. You say to produce
right.
the commercial.
Okay. Correct.
You do the commercial for free.
Boy, you're good.
Well, you better be, because I know what people are going to be asking me. Well, you know, the guy was on, and how much does it cost me after he produces that commercial? So there's a budget. Each budget is different.
Right. Well, for example, Spectrum, Spectrum, Fios, Cablevision, they're on an average of $1,800 to $2,500 to produce a commercial.
Oh, okay.
But now, of course, as I told you earlier, I know everybody in the industry 30 years.
Right,
So
you bypass that part of it.
right. But they worked out a deal with me where I said, look, I have the production equipment. Let me go out there and produce this stuff at no cost, but you got to meet me halfway somewhere.
Yeah.
So they did that for me. So as of 2017, I'm going to be producing all the commercials at no cost.
Oh, that's
But
great.
they must buy an airtime package either from Spectrum, from Fios, from Cablevision, wherever their business is, and they need that commercial to run, that's where it'll be. If it has to be in, let's say, Georgia,
Yeah, wherever
you know,
it is.
we can run it in Georgia.
Right. So
You know.
the actual cost is in the dollars to get it on to the stations.
Right.
That's-
Instead of spending the advertising dollar money.
for production.
Right.
Right.
No, I'm speaking of, you know, the packages from the TV stations, you know, less $1,800, $2,500, which I'm gonna produce it at no cost.
That's really
You know,
and that's a deal. That's what everybody's
Right.
looking for. Now, how long do these spots usually run?
Okay, you have, all right, let's say you want a $2,000 package, for
Right.
example. Let's say Spectrum,
Okay.
160 spots. We have 160 spots, and we also target their market. For example, if it's a hair salon, I have the one I just finished
Right.
recently on Jamaica Avenue. I put them on BET.
Okay.
I put them on Lifetime. I put them on New York One, and I put them on the OWN channel. Now we have 4 channels at 160 spots. Now, do you want to run 160 spots all in 1 week? You can do that.
No, right.
You get more of a bang.
Right.
Or do you want to run 160 spots on 4 networks
Yeah.
over a period of a month with
Okay.
less bang?
Right.
So it's basically $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, whatever budget they have. They'll get more spots so they can spread it more.
Spread it. And you were telling me before about the timing that you have to actually put that spot out there to get the results. You said something about 1 to 3 months.
Right, right. Being in this business 30 years, 1 month is okay. They get calls,
Yes.
but it's not enough to make me happy.
Okay.
Because, see, I have to be the mediator between the station and
Yes.
them.
Yes.
I've been doing this so long, they don't know, so I let them know what's best for them. I says, look, if you do 3 months,
Right.
spend that we're using 2,000 as a number, spend that 2,000 a month for 3 months,
Okay.
and you're gonna get the bang for your money.
Yeah.
For example, I'm sure you've seen a commercial out there
Yeah.
that you just see. So you
Yeah, and
turn
it's
your
like a
TV on, you see.
Flash.
Right. So at that point, if you don't know that's what it took to get you there, then why would you need to keep running it? But we have other options. We have billboards, we have buses.
Okay.
We have bright advertising. We just do it all,
All right. So how do I reach you? What's the
Well,
number?
I do have a toll-free number.
What's that number?
What is that? 877
Okay.
766 0700. And I got a New York number, 212-922-2113. And I also have a Queens number.
Don't give them too many numbers at one
Okay,
time.
yeah, I don't
because
want to
they say,
confuse you.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
what was that number again?
Yeah.
Just give me the 800 number again.
That's 877
Okay.
766 0700. Call me anytime,
Okay.
and I'll try to help who I can, and we can move with that.
Yeah, you were doing quite a few spots for a lot of our political people. You did one with Malcolm.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. You did one with Huntley, was it?
Shirley Huntley.
Shirley Huntley. And you did one with, I think it was White.
Oh,
was
Thomas
White.
White.
Who had passed away
Right.
years ago.
Bless his soul.
Yeah, and I remember seeing a lot of those spots.
Leroy Comrie.
Right.
Danique Miller. All the politicians.
Because the political situation today is really kind of strange with what's happening out here. A lot of people don't know who a lot of their leaders are. They don't know how to really get in touch with them. They're not voting to the degree that they need to. The last voting was like, I'm a Democrat, and I voted for, of course, Hillary, but Donald Trump won. So now a lot of people are kind of upset over what's happening because after he won, he's doing quite a few different things for this first 100 days, but a lot of
we don't want to talk about that, do we?
No, I don't want to talk about it, but I'm just bringing it up because of the fact that Donald Trump has been really involved in trying to so-called make change, but I'm a little disappointed in some of those changes. So getting back to where we are in terms of advertising, I want to do a public service announcement, okay, for the show Highlights Please, and also the show Focus on Solutions. Now that's a PSA, that's an underwriting. It's a little difference to do an underwriting commercial. Do you have to, you get that one free also, or you'd have to pay something for the underwriting?
I'll produce the PSAs. That's no problem.
Oh, okay, that sounds good.
It's not like starving or anything. You know what I mean? I try to help everybody that tries to help themselves. That's me.
Do you have an intern program for young people that might be interested in getting involved in the business?
Well, at this point, no.
Okay.
But I've been talking to a lot of different organizations, and being the time that I have, and now I'm starting to ease up.
Okay.
Because as I told you, I got my own production crew. Once I write the storyboards and scripts, I just turn it over to them, and they go out and do that. They'll come back to me. I might sit with them and edit it. I don't know, because I edit now, but I'm not into it like I used to be 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep it easy on me so I can do ventures such as what you just said about having different little
concepts for the community.
Correct.
Now I've worked with another organization which was print, and that's with Tony Johnson from Our Times, right?
Oh yeah, Tony Johnson's a
Tony-
great guy.
Yeah, and see, print is one area, and then there's video. We had somewhat talked about the possibility of maybe doing some kind of video magazine. Now, that advertising is a little different, and it's a lot less. So, but still, you still have to pay to be a part of it.
Pay the piper.
That's right. So a lot of people want a lot, but when it comes down to what you're asking for versus what it would cost for you to actually get what you're asking, because there's location, there's the personnel that would actually produce it, the people that would actually be the announcers or announcer that actually produces that commercial. So when you finish all of that, you put it together, then you contact your people at the advertising station, and they put it on. How long does it take before you can actually see your spot?
Well, first of all, I got to make sure all the specs are correct.
Okay.
I have, I'll say 30 years I've been doing this,
Mhm.
2 commercials I've been turned down because of the specs.
Yeah.
I guess it was the cameras, I don't know, but
Mhm.
only 2 commercials was turned down, but I was able to clean them up
Okay.
and get the proper specs to them.
Mhm.
So getting back to that,
Mhm.
I want to go back to what you was talking about, what programs.
Okay.
We just did a movie.
Okay.
It was a little kids movie, getting back to the politicians
Mhm.
as well. You know, it was a 2-hour movie, right?
Yeah.
Do you know, last month we put it in the Whitestone Cinemas. They took
Okay.
it and everything. So
Mhm.
what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to teach
Yeah. Yeah.
people with a small budget
Right.
how to get their
Information out.
movie into the movies.
With YouTube out there, a lot of people are using YouTube and also Facebook. Now, do you have a website or something that a person can kind of just take a look at, and
Well,
you know?
I do and I don't.
Yeah. Okay. So you do have a website, but that website that you have. Now you told me that you got a couple of pages on that.
Right, couple
Yeah.
pages,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
ain't nothing. I don't have no videos on it. I
Well,
don't have
that's supposed to be changing. though.
bios. Right,
Yeah,
right.
That's changing, so that's a good thing.
And I'm working with my family. My
Mhm.
niece, she's excellent with building websites.
Okay.
It's just hard for me to grab her by
well,
the
she's
neck.
young. Yeah, she's young. So
Yeah.
that's the problem that we face with a lot of the young people today. It's hard to kind of track them and bring them into it because everybody wants to make money. Now, is there any real money to be made in the business in terms of
course,
once
it
you get into it?
all depends on what you visualize, where
Mhm.
you stand at,
Right.
and me, myself personally,
Yeah.
I don't charge for everything I do
Okay.
because God is going to bring it back to me later.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, if somebody's standing on a van with I throw them $1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I might have $2,
Mhm,
I'll give them $1
Right.
because I
right.
know it's going to come back to me later somewhere,
Mhm.
somehow, some way.
Yeah, yeah. Public service announcements are really the way that we pretty much work at QPTV because we deal from the community prospects and concepts. Now, I want to see more of those PSAs on major networks. The FCC has changed a lot of the rules, and changing those
course.
rules, a lot of the companies that are nonprofit that are out there are not getting that exposure anymore. So I want to try to develop something to actually work with some of the groups that we have here so as for us to be able to see more of some of those organizations out there that's trying to make positive change. My show focus on solutions. I've been doing some things myself. For instance, there's an area where we have these ghost houses out there, where we call them ghost houses, where there are people that are abandon those properties for some particular reason or another.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lady who has a house next to hers, and she went on TV and started talking about it. Now, that house has been vacant for almost 10 years, and it's bringing the property value down of her house.
Correct.
So I'm trying to develop something along that line so as to bring attention to
what's
what are
going
some
on.
of the steps that a person can take
Well-
to actually help with that, and a beautification program too.
Right. Well, I was watching WPIX News 2 days ago.
Mhm.
They actually had something like that on there
Mhm.
where this lady sat down at a closing.
Right.
She bought the house. Little did she know people
Yes.
was living in it.
That's squatters.
1 year. She
Okay.
ain't been in her house. So now I think they gave her the rights to move
actually
in.
move in. Yeah, there's a
Right.
lot of. There's
But
a
I don't
lot of that.
understand that. Why New York City lets people squat?
I think it's because usually in a lot of instances it might be an estate account where the family died, no one can reach the relatives, and as a result, they can't find out who is actually
One
the
scenario,
owner. Then
yeah.
there's the banks, and they want to get their monies from the foreclosure. So what I did was, right across the street from where I lived, there was a house that had that same situation, and the grass was growing like crazy. And I said to my friend and associate across the street, I said, hey, the one lived right next door.
Right.
I said, we have to do something. We can't wait for government and other organizations, the ones that actually own the property, whether it be bank or somebody that we can't find, to do something, because it's bringing the property value down from our community. So what we did was we went across the street and we actually cut the grass.
Oh, yeah?
That's exactly what we cut the grass, took the papers away so it wouldn't look like it was vacant, because a lot of people go into those properties. They don't squat. They just go in and do whatever they need to do. But that's bringing an element into the community that's not what we really want to do. So a beautification program was already started. That was one of the projects that focused on solutions.
Well, I'm glad you're a stand-up guy out here.
Well, I mean, we got to make change. And the only way for us, that's why we're here on QPTV, because we highlight people like you, and now that you're saying you're interested in working with some of our young people,
of course,
that gives you a feather in your cap. Now, there are a lot of older people out here that have worked all their lives, and they might want to do something as far as making change, because they might have had something on their heart that they wanted to see done in reference to their community. So we want them to contact you as well. Okay,
so
give
Richard,
me that number again before you answer that question.
877
okay.
766-0700. But Richard,
yeah,
I'm willing to work with you on something like that. Come up with a good solution, because that's the name of your company, and then let's try to create something to make something happen.
Yes, because that's what we're going to have to do. Because it's up to us. A lot of people are saying, well, when are they going to do something about it? That they are we now. Right. Al Sharpton says a lot of times, look into the mirror and see, what are you doing? We complain and we say, I'm tired of this, I'm marching. Yeah, but what are you doing after you finish marching? And there's a lot of people working, so they don't really have time to even march. You see, so I mean, we're at a state where we cannot wait for others to do what we need to do for ourselves.
And then the people we know, of course.
Yes.
You know, we can pull them in as we need to.
Now, I've also gone to some of our political people, and I've mentioned certain things to them, and they kind of, you know, said they might be interested, but when it comes down to it, they have so many things on their plate, and a lot of times they can't always get to it. So we have no choice but to really find out who our leaders are, who can we talk to actually make change in our community. And John, I'm telling you, I've been knowing you for quite some time now, and you've done some real good spots.
Well, thank you, Rich.
I have to commend you, because high tech is where it is. But again, we have to produce on that same level as the major networks, and that's where we're coming at right here on QPTV.
Well, see, we as professionals, we have to maintain, you know, the standards.
Yes,
because if you don't maintain the standards, nobody wants garbage in front of their house.
Absolutely.
It's just like production. Nobody wants garbage.
That's
they
right.
want something nice. They want something that they can turn to, that they'll be satisfied with. And see, you being a good-hearted gentleman, by cleaning up the grass and everything where you clean it up at, you know, so I know you got a good heart, you know, and I feel I have a good heart. It's the bad-hearted people that's always thinking negative, trying to scam, wham,
that's exactly
which
what
don't get nowhere.
Yeah.
Just brings the community down and down.
There are those that do, and those that want to do, and those that say they're going to do.
I mean, life is hard. You think I like to get up at 6 in the morning?
I kind of woke you up kind of early this morning, didn't I?
Oh, no, only because I was working till 12:30 last night, and I have a flooring company as well. I didn't speak on that. And, you know, I was up with the guys, me and my old self, you know, helping them do a little something. Right. So I saw, so I said, yeah, I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to wake up at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yeah, yeah. And you call me at 8 o'clock this morning. We're going to be here, so waking me up. Well, but that was cool. I'm glad you woke me up.
I'm glad I woke you up, too, because seeing you today it means that you really are in a place where you have come full circle pretty much. And you were saying how you kind of been in the business for quite some time. Now, I was trying to get you to get that spark back that when you first got into it.
Well, 20 years ago, I was 20 years younger.
Oh,
So,
that made
you
a big
know,
difference, huh?
I think it does. Let's ask somebody else.
That's for sure. I know about it too.
Mm-hmm.
About 20 years ago, I started working with in broadcasting, and it was really good because now it's all about give back. What are you giving back to the community?
Gotta give back
What
that
are you giving
$1
back to-
out that $2 you got.
That's right. Out of the people that are out there that's trying to make change, is anyone connected to any of those organizations? If you're not, you should get involved because we have to make change and we have to make it now.
Well, Rich, it's easily said than done. Like our youth out here today,
Yeah.
there's a lot of the youth, the fathers are not there.
Yeah, that's true.
The mothers are drugging.
Mm-hmm.
The fathers drug. We don't know.
Yeah.
But we need to bring them in because I ran up on a situation where I met this little girl
Okay.
that my sister, she had to take in because the mother was in jail or something.
Right.
So my sister took her in. This little girl I couldn't believe. She was like, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I got 3 kids of my own.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, 4 kids of my own.
Okay.
And all of my kids are doing something, you know,
Right.
what they like.
Right.
I got one that's a certified public accountant, one that's
Okay.
a doctor.
That's great.
My son, he's into the music business, but I
Okay.
told him, go get a job, use that as your backup.
Foundation. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Gotta have a
use the
backup.
music as that, you
Yeah.
know? And I got a grandson,
Okay.
and he's always, you know, with me when I have time for him
Great.
on the weekends.
Great.
I think
Great.
you've seen him.
Yeah, I saw him once or twice.
Yeah, so you know he come on the weekends. I pick him up Friday in Coney Island. Sunday, I take him back home. As soon as he sees that little light up in the air in
Yeah,
Coney Island, you know that
that's it.
bright light.
That's it.
He seen that
He's ready.
last week. He said,
ready.
"Oh no, I don't want to go home."
Okay.
And he called me
okay.
Pop Pop. So,
Wow. Yeah.
so I
one-
feel kind of bad, but that's his. You know what I mean? So
One
it's-
of the other things that we have to do is we have to take our kids out there in the community and give them a camera and say, you have a story? Here, let me show you how to get your story out. Because these young people today are subject to quite a bit. I mean, with what's happening in the world, and these kids have stories to tell. And I want to see if we can help them to get some of that stuff out there and maybe get a sponsor.
So listen, why don't we do this?
Okay.
Why don't we think of what organization,
Okay.
maybe Flowers up there on Jamaica Avenue.
Okay.
Let's go see if we can talk to them, get a couple of kids, and see what we can do.
Just try to make that difference because
know?
it's up to us.
Well, Richard, it was really good talking to you today.
Oh, my pleasure, my brother.
And I hope we can get together and do things in this community.
We're going to make it happen because that's how this happened. We talked about this for a while to actually do the show, and now we're finally here. But it took a little time, and now that we're here, we don't want to just talk about it.
Let's
we're
be
gonna,
about
We're
it.
going to make the difference and do it. Bright Advertising, John Johnson. Highlights, please. I'm Richard Bynoe, and it's beautiful to have been able to communicate with you today and make all of this happen. It's a good day.
I thank you, Richard, for inviting me.
My pleasure, my brother. God
Thanks
bless
again.
you. All right.
Stay in touch.
Yeah, I sure will. You too.